Story 1. Everyone is talking about their own health, which is not wrong. What will really affect you is your parents' health, assuming they are still alive and you have a good relationship with them. If your parents live into old age, they will need increasing help. They may not understand how things work and will be more susceptible to scams. If they are like mine, they will be stubborn and will not acknowledge weakening faculties. Try asking someone who has driven for 60 years to surrender their driver's license because their eyesight is failing. When one parent dies, the other will likely have become very codependent, and the whole structure is destroyed. You know it will happen, but you do not realize how it will manifest until it plays out. Note, this gained attention. I am glad it helped some people, but it is still difficult. Story 2. Diet, posture, and physical activity are much easier to correct in your 20s than in your 40s. Story 3. Take care of your teeth. You only get 2 sets, and the first is lost at a very early age. Invest in an electric toothbrush and use it regularly. Story 4. Real talk. I am not seeing this elsewhere in the thread. Learn that it can be you. You are not immune, and in some way, at some point, you will become a statistic. Everyone thinks it will not happen to them. That they will avoid accidents, illness, scams, propaganda, cults, homelessness, prison, or cancer. Accept that things will happen to you. You may get sick or injured, develop a chronic illness, be taken in by an obvious scam, believe someone's lies, or become impoverished or desperate. If you were in certain situations, you would probably make the same mistakes anyone would in those circumstances. Being aware that you are unlikely to be the exception to the rule is a kindness to yourself and to others. Example: people do not fall for elder abuse scams because they are stupid. Older adults fall for these scams because when cognition begins to decline, medically speaking, one of the first things to go is the ability to suspend disbelief. It is a normal and expected part of aging. While it might not happen to you, remembering that it could will help you be more compassionate to others who are victimized in this way. It will also help you develop habits to prevent you or older adults you love from being taken advantage of before it happens. The same applies to everything else. Reminding yourself that you are not an elite being who avoids all trauma because you are smarter, faster, stronger, or better makes you kinder and helps you prepare if something bad happens. Something will happen to you sooner or later. You will be a statistic in one way or another before or after you die. Story 5. Sticking with a person you will never change is the worst mistake you can make. Story 6. Spend time with family and elders. You will miss them when they have passed away or when children, nieces, and nephews have grown up. Cherish time with elder mentors such as teachers. Enjoy everyone while you have them. Story 7. The power of compound interest. For the love of God, start saving money for your retirement as early as possible. Look at online charts showing the difference between starting to save a little when you are younger and how much you must put away when you are older to retire. Story 8. That physical job does not pay you for the damage it does to your body. I worked in flooring for 18 years before I left. I was a subcontractor and made great money, but it wasn't worth the damage to my joints. I have shoulder problems from carrying rolls of carpet and padding up endless flights of stairs. I was lucky. Somehow my knees are okay. Story 9. For the love of God, sleep. Nothing will damage you long-term more than believing you can go without sleep. Story 10. As many have said, health tends to decline after 40. Stay active and enjoy it. Find out your family's medical history. In some cases, no matter what you eat or drink, you may still develop diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. Learn if these conditions run in your family and prepare and plan accordingly. Save money. If you already do, save even more. Inflation and the rising cost of living have shown that $1 million may not buy a home anymore and may not keep you comfortable in retirement. Save, invest, and become financially literate. People come and go. Try not to take it personally. We are all on our own journeys. Enjoy their company when they are with you, and be happy for them from afar when they move on. Story 11. Cut back on carbs and sugar now and keep exercising. Don't take a break in your 30s because the kids keep you too busy. Trying to lose weight in your 40s is torture. I've been hungry for 3 years. Story 12. Avoid excessive consumption of fast food, junk food, and alcohol. Break these habits now. Story 13. Your parents are not properly planning their end-of-life care. Story 14. Take care of your mental health. Distance yourself from toxic relationships. You are worth it. Story 15. I would reverse the question. Most people in their 20s think so many things are the end-all. None of it really matters. Keep working on being the best person you can be. Story 16. All the little injuries add up. Getting out of bed in the morning is an adventure. Story 17. People in their 20s do not realize that each year is not just another trip around the sun. It is another brick added to the backpack you carry through life. When you are young, that bag is practically empty and very light. You have a few memories, a couple heartbreaks, maybe one or two regrets, but nothing that really weighs you down. You sprint through life thinking it will always feel fresh and easy. By the time you reach your 40s, the backpack is packed to the brim. Every relationship you have had and every choice you made or did not make begins to add up. It is not just the passage of time. It is the weight of that time. You have the good things, family, love, achievements, but you also have the what-ifs, the missed opportunities, and the regrets. Those regrets are like invisible bricks. Things you did not even know would haunt you later. Not calling someone when you should have, passing on a major risk, staying in a bad situation too long. All of that stacks up. Memories affect you differently as well. They begin to stick to you like wet cement. Some beautiful, some bittersweet, some painfully so. You do not realize in your 20s that every phase of life leaves a mark. It is not just time flying by. It is life building up behind you. By 40, you are carrying an entire timeline of experiences, relationships, and regrets. The weight of it can be inspiring or crushing, depending on how you handled it. In your 20s, you run free with a clean slate, but every year that slate becomes messier. One day you wake up and realize you are not just living for the moment anymore. You are carrying the weight of every moment you have ever lived. That is something nobody warns you about. Story 18. I am 39. I stay fit. I have stopped drinking all the time. I save my money and invest it. Story 19. The most important and impactful decision you will make is the partner you choose. Story 20. Stop running from your issues and address them. Do you want to know what unchecked attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is really like? Imagine waking up one morning and 19 years have gone by. You have not worked on yourself, your goals, or your financial health, and you cannot remember the last time you actually did something to improve yourself. I lived that journey for you. It was awful. Story 21. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 1999, wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists. Whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience, I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they have faded, but trust me, in 20 years you will look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you cannot grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine. Do not worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind. The kind that blindsides you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you. Do not be reckless with other people's hearts. Do not put up with people who are reckless with yours. Floss. Do not waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you are ahead, sometimes you are behind. The race is long and in the end, it is only with yourself. Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Do not feel guilty if you do not know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know did not know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still do not. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You will miss them when they are gone. Maybe you will marry, maybe you will not. Maybe you will have children, maybe you will not. Maybe you will divorce at 40. Maybe you will dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, do not congratulate yourself too much or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Enjoy your body, use it every way you can. Do not be afraid of it or what other people think of it. It is the greatest instrument you will ever own. Dance even if you have nowhere to do it but your own living room. Read the directions even if you do not follow them. Do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. Get to know your parents. You never know when they will be gone for good. Be nice to your siblings. They are your best link to your past and the people most likely to stick with you in the future. Story 22. Never expect too much from people. Some people enter your life to stay. Some are like travelers who pass you by. Some are there to give you a lesson and then walk away. So keep your distance from others and protect your boundaries so you will not be disappointed. Always tell yourself this too shall pass. Story 23. If you spend a lot of time in the sun without protection, you may develop wrinkles early, even in your early 30s. Take care of your skin. Story 24. I never really thought about it until now, but in my teens and 20s I was always into rough sports like rugby, skateboarding, and dirt biking. I always pushed it too far and got hurt. Older people used to say I would feel it when I was older. I am 40 now and feel great. I have friends who did little physical activity their whole lives and they have back and knee problems. I stay active. I shoe horses for a living and I still dirt bike, ride horses, and snowmobile. So my advice is to stay active even if it is risky. Note: take your mental health seriously and get help early, even if you are only slightly depressed or anxious. Putting it off for years can have devastating, lasting effects. Story 25. Don't work too hard. All my friends who worked non-stop in their 20s are now 45 and spending time at clubs because they missed their moments. Enjoy your youth. Get a degree or learn a trade and don't stress. You only need enough money to make memories. Story 26. Their online behavior is obvious. You can see it on Reddit every day. Grown-ups in their 20s do not know the basics of human interaction. Get off TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. That is far from the real world. Go outside and touch grass. I cannot believe I am writing this. Story 27. Not saving money in your 20s is costly. Your 20s are the most important time to save as much as possible. If you save, you can retire wealthy. If you do not, you may live paycheck to paycheck as retirement approaches. Story 28. Some tips. Wear earplugs in any loud place because tinnitus is a terrible curse. You can still enjoy activities with them in. Use sunblock every time you're outside because the sun accelerates skin aging and can cause cancer. Wear sunglasses too. Moisturize with a simple cream like cocoa butter every time you bathe or shower. Apply all over. Eat well, lots of fiber, and drink water. Look at your stools and be aware of what's normal and what could be warning signs of serious illness. Dark blood, black stool, etc. Bright red blood usually means hemorrhoids. Check your breasts or testicles regularly for lumps. If you find one, see a doctor. Brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste before bed. Use circular motions. Don't scrub them like a saucepan. Don't brush immediately after eating or drinking. Don't rinse your mouth afterwards. Avoid alcohol mouthwash. If you have any pain, go to the dentist. Infections can be serious. Don't ignore chronic symptoms like a cough, stomach pain, or chest pain. Exercise, aerobic, and weight-bearing. Dancing around your living room is good. Avoid artificial sweeteners when possible. They may be harmful. Avoid sugary drinks. Drinking excess calories can cause weight gain. It's not just food that contributes to weight gain. Take vitamin D supplements. Read books, articles, creepypastas, anything. If you have the opportunity to do something that will make you happy and won't hurt anyone, do it. Don't stand in your own way. Regret is a curse. I love you. You're awesome. Be the best you can be. Story 29. Travel internationally in your 20s when you're single or with friends. Stay in hostels if you have to. Story 30. Lots of great responses here. mainly related to health and lifestyle choices. But let's not forget one of the most important. Get rid of the negative energy in your life. That includes bad habits and bad people, even if they are family. I've seen people keep toxic individuals, male and female, around for far too long. They became bogged down with their problems, and when they needed help, those people pulled them down even more. The people you choose to have in your life can greatly affect its course. Make sure they are adding, not subtracting. Story 31. Loving someone does not mean they are a good life partner. If you choose to get married or enter a common-law relationship, be realistic about your partner's finances because they are about to become your own. I am not saying choose a partner based on their income, but rather choose a partner based on their sense of responsibility and the lifestyle they want. When I got married, I got caught in the "it is okay, we love each other so we will be all right" mentality and ignored red flags. Inability to hold down a job, not prioritizing what we needed over what he wanted, and a general sense of expecting to be taken care of rather than contributing. In the divorce, I very nearly lost the house I had bought entirely on my own and lost a good portion of my retirement due to his debt. I was lucky that the judge ruled I was not responsible for his student loan debt. Otherwise, I do not know how I would be getting by. Story 32. If you do not have fun in your 20s, you may be unhappy in your 40s. Say yes to life. Go out with a friend. Climb a mountain. Travel. Try that new restaurant. Start enjoying life now so that when you are 40 you can look back with happiness and no regrets. Story 33. High-impact sports. I know many people who injured their knees from skating aggressively while playing hockey or from playing basketball. Listening to loud music with headphones. Many friends have developed hearing loss. Smoking cannabis. Several friends withdrew socially because they could not manage everyday anxieties. They became isolated and experienced increasing paranoia and intrusive thoughts. Story 34. Not realizing that it is perfectly fine to never have children. Story 35. I'm 49. I just had an afternoon nap and soiled myself twice. Surgeries often have unsatisfactory outcomes, but you do not hear about them as often as they occur. People tend not to tell others when they soil themselves. Story 36. Everything. Take care of your body. Eat well. Exercise regularly. Avoid intoxicants. Do not push yourself too hard. Get good sleep. Avoid unnecessary stress. Use sunscreen. Do the things others remind you to do, or you will start falling apart by the time you are 30. There is no such thing as disposable income. Story 37. I just turned 24, but I have heard about the buildup effects of alcohol, smoking, a sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy food, poor sleep, high sun exposure, and bad posture. Maybe those effects are not noticeable in your 20s. Story 38. I would have to say keeping up with your 401k plans. I have been working since I was 16 and have always paid into a 401k plan when given the option. The sad part is no one, including myself, explained them to me. I always just paid into them because I thought it was the responsible thing to do. Throughout my work history, I accumulated more than 8 401k plans from different jobs that I left behind when I changed positions. It was not until my early to mid-30s that I began to understand them better, and even then I was still a little unclear. I then had to do the work to track down and consolidate them. I wish that had been taught to me at a much younger age. Story 39. Thinking you are 20 when you are 40 is a common mentality. We can all shout about dieting and exercise, but many of us still eat fast food and sleep in because we are exhausted from work. Story 40. Don't be hard on your knees. Take care of them. You only get one set. Story 41. Remember when you were 23, crashed while mountain biking, landed on your head, and then got up and started riding again? That could lead to a cervical fusion to relieve pain from a crushed disc when you're 43. Story 42. Failing to stretch and maintain spinal flexibility will cripple your physical abilities as you age. Story 43. This is especially for women. When you apply serums and moisturizers to your face, apply them to your neck too. Treat the skin on your neck as part of your face now, and you will not have the dreaded crepey neck as badly when you are older. I am in my 50s now, and it is still good advice. Also, start saving or contributing to a 401k employer-sponsored retirement plan or an individual retirement account as soon as possible. Even a small amount saved from each paycheck will add up over time, and if you start now, you will not miss the small percentage you contribute each month. Story 44. Being abused by anyone can cause post-traumatic stress disorder. I had no idea. I thought it only happened to people who go to war or witness a death. If I had known, I would have left certain situations sooner. You assume everything will be okay once you can get away, so you put it off because it is scary to stand up and say no more. It has a tangible effect on the brain and cognition. I wish I had known. Story 45. Poor posture can silently cause harm. You may slouch for years without feeling back pain until actual damage has occurred. Story 46. Your word is your bond. Promise made is a debt unpaid. Story 47. The 20s are not possessive, and neither are the 40s. Story 48. Take care of your joints. For fuck's sake. Sleep. Employers do not actually care about you. Family is more important than a career. You never really leave high school. Not knowing how to cook. Story 49. Save money. When I was 20, I used to say I would start saving when I got a good job. My dream job did not come until I was 40, and I spent 20 years spending rather than saving. When I say save money, I mean both saving and investing. Story 50. Floss. It only takes a few minutes but will make all the difference in the long run. Story 51. Be open and talk about things that interest you. Have an opinion, informed or not. Everything is a learning opportunity. It is much easier to find your people when it is clear what you are into. Story 52. Around age 50, you will begin to see the effects of your lifestyle choices, and some of your peers may begin to die. Story 53. If you are addicted, stop drinking alcohol altogether. The amount of energy, time, and health you trade for a good time is not worth it. If you are one of the rare people who can limit yourself to 2 beers when you go out, more power to you. If you find yourself drinking more than that every day, you need to stop. It only leads to more pain down the road. Story 54. A sedentary lifestyle is dangerous. Say no to full-time desk jobs. The worst thing I ever did was sit behind a computer all day, 5 to 6 days a week. A 1-hour commute each way made it worse. I went to school for information technology desktop support, and although I earned decent money, it was not worth the health problems I now have. I tried to eat well, get up every hour to walk, and stayed active on weekends, but these efforts were not enough, and I gained close to 100 pounds in a few short years. During this time, I developed breast cancer, which I believe was brought on by lack of movement and weight gain. I had to quit that job after my diagnosis to undergo a 1.5 years of chemotherapy and radiation. If I could rewind time, I would choose another career. Your body is not meant to sit behind a computer for more than 40 hours a week. Don't do it. Story 55. Your mind is not invincible. Too much loneliness, reflection, or uncertainty will wear you down and depress you, and it is hard to climb back out of that hole. Do not make plans that involve subjecting yourself to these things for years on end. You should make sure your life is satisfying and pleasant in the present, and not only in the long run. Story 56. Get into the habit of spending less than you earn. So many people are in debt for unwise reasons. Story 57. Be kind to your knees. You will miss them when they are gone. Story 58. If your parents are still alive and you have a good relationship with them, cherish it. They can be gone faster than you think. Story 59. A 30-year-old coworker who lived abroad for work, away from his parents, asked whether to go on a boys' trip or visit his parents over the holidays. He did the math and realized that if he continues to see his parents twice a year until they pass, he only has 60 days left with them. I had never thought of it that way. I still think about it every day. Make every day count. His parents were 60. If they live to 90, that is 30 more years with 2 visits per year, which equals 60 full days left with them. Story 60. Friends do not always last. I remember my best friend's mother saying that. It is an important thing to know in your 20s when a social life is easy and natural. Keeping strong connections with people who matter in our lives is important. Divorce, Losing a job, bankruptcy, and illness are common in your 40s, and any of these can suddenly reveal how alone someone really is and hit hard. 1 is the most dangerous number. Story 61. I am 51 and cannot stand the tinnitus I experience constantly. I spent way too many nights at Crowbar in Chicago during my 20s. If you go to clubs or concerts, wear earplugs. Story 62. Brush your teeth regularly, use an electric toothbrush, and floss. Dental work becomes expensive if you neglect your teeth, and problems can include searing, inescapable pain. Hydrate. Water helps many issues, and drinking it regularly builds a healthy habit. All things in moderation. Learn personal finance. Choose accounts and cards that reward you, and use credit wisely. Property can be valuable. Learn how to acquire it. Love often and passionately. This may be the only life we have. Enjoy it while you can. Story 63. Drink more water. It is the only thing I think you should pay attention to. I am not trying to overstep boundaries or sound like an old man berating you for mistakes I made. Story 64. Do not gain any more weight. Exercise regularly. Stop drinking so much alcohol. Story 65. Bad posture. Invest in it now. Fucking stretch, you idiots. Story 66. Social skills. If you do not actively develop them, you will be at a disadvantage your whole life. If you have them but do not use them, you will lose them. Story 67. Learn to talk to people. Toothbrushing and vitamins are important, but learning how to have a conversation in real life seems to be a lost art among young people. Skills such as making eye contact and listening are important. Story 68. People-pleasing has taken too many of our best years as we try to keep others happy. This is your life and life is short. Make sure you are the happy one. Story 69. Losing interest in actual sex when you're single again at 46 and preferring to masturbate occasionally instead of dealing with all the bullshit associated with trying to date these days. Story 70. Join a company with a pension plan. It adds up quickly. I wish I had when I was younger. Story 71. All the cliches you once rolled your eyes at or mocked come home to roost in some fashion. You also begin to develop a deeper, more genuine compassion for others and a true, almost liberating humility. There is an irony. You feel more like yourself than ever and more in control of who you are, just as your body begins to challenge you and the consequences of choices you made in your 20s and 30s start to catch up. Story 72. Excessive exercise in youth leads to joint pain in old age. Story 73. Saving money and avoiding debt. Taking good care of your teeth. Establishing and maintaining a health routine. Choosing a partner wisely. Story 74. Women, in particular, need to ensure they have some income. I see many middle-aged women who become divorced or whose spouse dies and then cannot afford to take care of themselves, let alone their children. Being a stay-at-home mom can be great, but if you must return to work, you need to be able to find a job that will pay the bills. Learn a new skill while you are at home, or for now call it a hobby. Work part-time, even in retail, while the children are in school. Always have a backup plan. We cannot plan for everything, and divorce, illness, or death hit stay-at-home moms especially hard. Story 75. Regret can play a significant role in your mental state when you are in your 40s. It may concern things you did not do, jobs you did not pursue, or partners you did not marry. You still have a lot of good quality life left, but you may be constrained by earlier decisions. You can change careers, become a baker, or move across the country, but you will often be far enough along in your career that such changes could negatively affect your quality of life, possibly significantly. Never mind that you may have children, a spouse, a house, and pets. I regret not pursuing a career path that would have led me to more impactful work, not traveling more before having children, and spending so much time in front of my computer and gaming console instead of going out with friends. Thankfully, there is still time to address some of this. Story 76. In your 40s, you begin to lose ownership of your life. It becomes all about your children, your parents, your relatives, and so on. For example, I am 54, and the last 10 years of my life have been consumed by my parents' health and the eventual loss of my father 2 years ago. Now I have an elderly mother who lives alone, and I must stay in frequent contact with her. Ensure she is provided for, handle home repairs and maintenance, and plan for times when I have to leave town. My son just bought his first house. He needs ongoing help with repairs, upkeep, improvements, and advice. My daughter has her own business. She needs steady help with expansion, installation of equipment and technology, and advice on decisions. Close family friends our age are beginning to face life-changing or even life-ending illnesses, and everyone has to support one another. It is exhausting. I hear it gets better for a while when you reach your 60s and you pass the misery hump, but we will see. Story 77, years on the body. Everything just starts to hurt every day and there is no reason for it. Story 78. Dating may seem casual, but it is not. Sharing your energy with someone is special. People you loved who did not love you back may stay in your mind for a long time. Be cautious about whom you invite into your life. Story 79. Who you choose to spend your time with will have the biggest impact on your life. Choose your spouse, coworkers, friends, and others carefully. Story 80. Not saving enough money and failing to take care of your health will have profound repercussions. Story 81. If you are going to lift heavy, make sure your form is perfect. I lifted with poor form for years. I have had 3 rotator cuff tears and 1 pectoral tear. The rotator cuff probably needs another surgery. My knees are holding up but are not perfect. My lower back is okay but occasionally seizes up. I now lift only light weights and do yoga and cardio. I miss lifting heavy, but I should have worked on flexibility and hired a coach or trainer to improve my form. Story 82. Staying with a boyfriend or girlfriend whose personality and behavior are red flags, such as verbal and physical abuse, controlling behavior, drug or alcohol addiction, being unsupportive, anger problems, not helping at home, or refusing to work, is dangerous. Choosing someone with too many personality differences or a lack of common interests, beliefs, and morals is also risky. Things can get much worse in the long term if they remain together, marry, and have children. Story 83. You are probably going to have to look after your parents at some point. There is very little support for you when that happens, and no one talks about how devastating it is when they die. It is the worst, and if you are in your 40s or older, you are just supposed to get on with it. Sorry to be depressing. I am going through it myself. Story 84. Tomorrow arrives at your doorstep much faster than expected. Story 85. For men, buy your suits in your 20s and stay in shape so you never have to buy larger ones in your 40s. This is a motivational comment. Story 86. Stop smoking so much, quit using cocaine, and seek professional therapy. Story 87. Fuck it. I've done this like half a dozen times and it hasn't hurt me. It will. Trust me, it will. Wear the safety equipment that you think you're too cool to wear. Story 88. If I could give my 20-year-old self any advice, it would be that the things you do not say are just as important, if not more so, than the things you say. Story 89. Living paycheck to paycheck. Earn, save, and invest as much as you can, even if it is just 25 pounds a week. Life does not improve unless you improve it. Story 90. That degree you are getting is a poor choice. Seriously, pursue a field with jobs available that can help pay down your debt. Story 91. Avoid trauma. Younger people, please walk away from every red flag. It is better to be alone than to be with someone who will abuse you. Story 92. If I could go back in time and speak to my early 20s self, brush your teeth longer and always after eating sweets. I know you do not have insurance, but going to the dentist regularly is better than going to the bar every weekend. Jesus Christ, pay more attention to where you walk. You are going to sprain your ankles 5 times and the swelling will never completely go down. Your cars are not junk. You treat them poorly. Change the oil for goodness sake. Who you spend time with matters. You become like your social circle. You get out of relationships what you put in. If someone is important, put in the work to stay close. This applies to family as well. Love is not like it is on television or in romantic comedies with grand gestures and nonstop romance. It is more important to choose a partner for compatibility than for passion that fades. Give Gary a chance. When you meet Kevin, run as fast as you can. Go to community college instead of wasting your time and money at the University of North Carolina. You can get grants and work as a waitress until you figure out what you love to do, then get your degree. By the way, it is accounting. Protect your hearing and stay active. Use sunscreen. Buy Apple stock. Story 93. The sun. For the love of all that anyone values as holy, wear sunscreen. Story 94. Not saving enough money, not furthering your education, not keeping your health in check, and wasting time dating the wrong people. Story 95. Procrastination, especially when it comes to setting and reaching goals, is dangerous. Tomorrow you will wake up 40 and be shocked at how quickly the last 10 to 20 years disappeared, whether you used them wisely or not. Story 96. You remember that mild injury you had last week? It will come back and jump out at you like a bear hiding behind the bushes. Story 97. All the things your parents or grandparents told you not to do. Opening bottles with your teeth, including loosening twist caps, listening to music on headphones very loudly, and not paying attention to your posture or eating habits. Your body will pay for these behaviors one day. That is the hardest thing about your late 30s and 40s. All the stupid things that did not hurt or seem to affect you in your youth actually damage your body, and that damage is felt when you are older. Story 98. If you get married that young, understand that you and your spouse might change a lot by the time you reach your 40s. Story 99. Marrying or having a child with the wrong person could affect you until the day you die. Story 100. I just turned 46. I have been physically active my entire life, playing sports from a young age through college, lifting weights consistently since age 14, and working as a firefighter for 22 years, but almost a month after I turned 45, everything went downhill quickly. For no reason, my blood pressure went from about 120/80 to between 180 and 220/100. This literally happened within a week. I tried everything I could think of that might have caused it and changed a lot of things, but nothing helped. I finally broke down and am on blood pressure medication now, so at least it is under control. I also started having severe back and neck pain, which I put off until I could barely walk in the mornings and had to start using sick time at work. I tried everything from skipping the gym for a few weeks to seeing a chiropractor and finally an orthopedic surgeon. A magnetic resonance imaging scan showed my 6th and 7th cervical vertebrae and my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th lumbar vertebrae are all damaged in various ways. The neck issues were most likely due to playing football and rugby for several years, along with concussions from those sports and snowboarding. My back problems are probably the result of sports, lifting heavy weights most of my life, and my line of work. I now get cortisone injections to help manage the pain and will eventually need surgery. I also needed 2 dental crowns in the past 2 years, and 2 weeks ago had an anal fistula removed that still has not healed and continues to cause significant pain. I definitely cannot go to the gym as regularly as I used to, maybe 4 times a week now, or I have to take weeks off at a time depending on my back pain. I have had to cut back on cardio, but at least I am still in decent shape for my age, although my body is breaking down. I used to hear guys 10 years older telling me, wait until your 30s, then wait until your 40s. And I thought that was exaggerated. It all happened to me almost overnight after I turned 45. It is still manageable, but both literally and figuratively painful. I also get sick more often, forget things more often, and definitely do not handle getting up several times in the middle of the night at work nearly as well as I used to. Father Time is undefeated. It is just a matter of time before he starts catching up with each of us. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.